Hello friends and welcome to my channel Iballdesigningdeveloper. So think of a class in Java like a blueprint and an object as the real thing built from that blueprint. Imagine you are designing cars. A class is your master design. It defines what every car should have, like a color, engine type and the ability to drive. But the object, that's the actual car on the road. In Java, classes and objects that are the foundation of everything. A class defines the properties and behaviors and an object brings them to life. You can create one car or 100 all based on the same class but with different values. This is where programming gets exciting. You stop writing repetitive code and start modeling real world things in a smart, organized way. So in this lesson you will see how just a few lines of code can turn simple text into powerful, reusable, real-world models. Welcome to the heart of Java OOP, classes and objects. So in this video, I will be telling you that what are classes and objects in Java from start. So if you understand this amazing video, if you enjoy this tutorial, so remember to hit a like to this video. And if you are new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe. And after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So now what we are waiting for? Let's move to computer screen and let's dive into it. Alright, so we are on the computer screen, and as I told you that in this video I will be telling you that what are classes and objects in Java. We have understand that how we can just use object oriented programming in Java, and in the previous video I have also told you that classes and object are the main term when we are talking about object oriented programming. So first of all we need to understand that how we can just use classes and objects in Java and what is this classes and object meaning. So Java is an object oriented programming language, which we all know that everything in Java is associated with classes and objects along with its attributes and method. For example, in real life a car is an object. The car has attributes such as weight and color and method such as drive and brake. A class is like an object constructor or a blueprint for creating objects. So normally it is saying me that everything in Java is associated with classes and objects, and that is really correct thing which is said by this Java associated one. So it means that everything which you create, like if I'm calling a function, if I'm creating a method, if I'm running a method, so for that I need to create a class. Obviously, if I just show you by opening my NetBeans IDE here, I will be just opening it, and if you're a beginner and starting with Java, I will be prefer you to use this IDE here, but you can also use some other IDEs if you have like Eclipse and VS Code, because right now we are at intermediate level programming. So I think everybody knows that how we can just create a Java file, how we can run it, and how we can just add the starting codes of Java. So moving on to my main.java file, what's really my intention was to show you that when we are creating anything in Java, like if I want to create a method, so for creating that method I need to create a class, and that class will be of my file. Like if I'm creating a file of main or with any name I want to create, so I need to create a public class of my file name as well, so that I can create all the things in that file. I can create my method, I can just call my method, I can create my method parameter. If I want to create a string or array, I can do that as well. But before doing that all things, I need to create a class. So that's the reason this Java is saying me that everything in Java is associated with classes and object, and along it is with attributes and method as well. Like after creating class, obviously we need to create a method so that we can call all the codes in that method. So that's why after classes and objects the main thing will be method and attributes, and after adding that method we add attributes in that method so that we can add our codes and run it. So that's the reason these are the main important things when we are working with Java, creating anything in Java, that things will be worked here. So that is the reason we need to just first of all understand that everything in Java is associated with classes and objects. Moving down, now we need to understand that how we can create a class in Java. It's really simple. To create a class we need to just use the keyword of class here, create a class name main with a variable x. Like here is the example that how you can create a class with the name of main, and here we are using variable of x. It's not compulsory to use the variable as I'm using. You can use different variable as well, and you can also use different class name if you want. But if you are an intermediate level programmer or a beginner level programmer, I'll be preferring you to just do the things which I'm doing here, so that you will be having a more clear mindset that how we can just create a class and how we can work with it. Then one note it is written here is like, remember from the Java syntax chapter that a class should always start with an uppercase first letter, and that the name of the Java file should match the class name. So it is saying me that Remember when we were just working with Java syntax in the previous tutorial video. So I hope you understand how we can use Java syntax, and in that video I have told you that every class should always start with an uppercase letter. If I'm creating a class here, so that class name would be starting from uppercase letter. Like if I'm creating this class main, so you can just see this main M is capital here, because in Java when we create any class, the first letter should be uppercase here. If you are not doing that, so remember it will be giving an error, and we don't want that. We should get any error in our class. So for that we need to write it correctly. We need to add the first letter of our class in capital here, and after that you need to just add the name of Java file, and that file name should be matched from the file name which you have written of your Java file. Like if I'm creating here a class of main, so you can just see here I have also created a file name as main. So remember the file name should be matched the class name here, and if it matches, so you will be having the class running, but if it not, so you will be not having your class running in your terminal or in your output where you are running. Moving on to my Word text editor, here I will be just copying these all things here from here. Now moving on to my NetBeans IDE, I will be pasting it because our class name, our file name is main, so that's why I will be just pasting all these things here same, and we will be not getting any error. We will be getting this variable having this 5 value printed in my output. So for running it, you need to just press right click and press run file. After running, you can just see it is saying me that main does not have a main method, and that's correct, that we are only running the thing in this class. We have not created any method. So if you want to call any attribute here, so obviously we need to create a method for that, and that's why when we are just working with Java, so everything is associated with classes and objects and along with its attributes and method. Here we have not created method, we have created class, but we are not getting this thing running because for that we need to create a method. So now we need to understand that how we can create an object here. In Java, an object is created from a class. We have already created the class name main, so now we can use this to create objects. Like now when we have created an class here with an object, now we need to understand that how we can create an object, because we have already created the class name method. So now we can use this to create objects here. How we can create it, you can just see in this example. To create an object of main, we need to first of all specify the class name. After that we need to follow that class name by the object name, and we need to use the keyword new here. So this is the example that how we are using it. We are creating an object here, and that object is called as my object. So this is the name of my object which I have given, but you can give any name to your object you want to, and then you need to print the value of x or any variable which you are using. In this case I am using variable as x here. So this is my object which I have created with the name of my object in short term, or you can create with other name as well. So I will be simply copying this thing here. We have also called this method, so we don't need to just call it again. I will be just copying these all things here from Word document. Moving on to my NetBeans IDE, I will be pasting it here because now we have understand that if we want to normally create a class, how we can do that. So I will be pasting down here, or you can just remove these all things, and in the place of that you can paste all the things as well. I will be just pasting it, and after pasting these all things, you can just see we have created one public class main because we have already understand that how we can create a class. So it's really simple. Moving down, we have called the method as well, and we also understand that how we can call method because in previous videos I have told you. And after that, when we have called all the things, we have created one attribute, or you can say we have created an object, and our object name here is my obj, or you can say obj, which is another short term for object. I have written my object here, my object name, and after that I have created one you can say a data type of new. In this data type I have written a variable as main, and then after writing all these things I have printed it. Now after printing this thing, we need to see what output we are getting. Obviously we will be getting an output as 5 because in x variable the value we have written is 5, or you can write any other value as well you want to. Like here in this case I have written an integer value. You can write any string value as well if you want to add, or you can add any boolean value or any other value or any other data type value as well. Moving on, I will be running this file. After running this here, you can just see the output we are getting is 5 because we are running this object here with this variable name of x, and in x variable we have written the value of integer 5. That's the reason we are getting this output in our terminal. So I hope you understand how we are just creating classes and how we are creating objects. So that's the way to create an object and run it, and that's the way to create a class and just use it in Java. And that's really compulsory if you are working with Java. If you are not using any object, that's okay. But if you are working with Java, creating anything, it can be a simple program, it can be a big program, it can be a web application. So for that you need to use a class, which is really compulsory to use. And in objects as well, these all things works, because when we are creating any program or app, we need to use objects as well. So that's the reason these are some important things. When we are working with object oriented programming, we need to use these things to create different applications, or you can say websites, if you are creating it with Java. So I hope you understand how we are just using it and working with it. Moving down, if you want to use different objects, or you can say if you want to use multiple objects, so how you can do that? So you can just create multiple objects of one class, and you can create 2 objects of main. So if I want to create multiple objects of main class, I can just use this example, from which I can create 2 objects of one main class which I have created. Like if I'm using one class of main, which is my file name, and I want to create 2 objects of the same class which I am using, so you can do that as well. You can just use this example and you can just see how you can create 2 objects of same class if you want to. It's really simple. You need to just apply the same procedure. The thing is that you need to create another object with a different name, and you need to call that as same way as you are calling the first object here, and after that you need to run it after pressing right click and run file, and you will be getting the output printed 2 objects at once in one class of main. Moving down, if you want to understand how we can just use multiple classes here, so you can also create an object of a class and access it in another class. This is often used for better organization of classes. One class has all the attributes and methods, while the other class holds the main method code to be executed. Remember that the name of the Java file should match the class name. In this example, we have created 2 files in the same directory folder, main.java, second.java, and the first file name is main.java, and here this is the class which we have created, because it's the file name is main.java, so that's the reason I have created a class of main. And then here the second file which I have created is with the name of second.java, and that is the reason I am creating a class with the name of second. And after creating this class, I am just calling a method, and in this method I am calling my values which I want to call here by creating an object. You can just see this is the object which I have created. Here I have not created any object, I am just calling this value, and if I will be doing that, I will be getting an error, or you can just say you will be not getting an error, you will be just getting one you can say suggestion that you haven't add a method, you need to run this thing with method. If you don't do that, so you will be not getting any output here. So you need to create a method, and you need to call that method to just run this value here which you have written in your class of main. So that's the way that how you can just create multiple classes, how you can create multiple objects, how you can create an object, and how you can create a class. So I hope you understand how we can just use classes and objects in Java when we are working with object oriented programming. So if you have understand this video, and if you enjoyed this amazing tutorial in which we have learned that how we can use classes and objects with object oriented programming in Java. So if you understand this video, if you enjoy this amazing tutorial, remember to hit a like, and if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So just I will be meeting you next tutorial or in next project using Java. So for today, goodbye.